Oh, whale. Just got hit by a whale.
I just got hit by a whale.
Amazing, isn't it? That all
I
happened
woke up this morning. Let's just got hit by a whale. Okay.
Amazing.
Oh,
isn't it?
sorry. I
That
woke up this morning. I've got all sorts going on here.
We've got all sorts happening. Yeah.
Sorry.
So if anyone hasn't seen it, this morning in Sydney, a wingfoiler has been just trying to enjoy himself out in the ocean when a whale has just jumped out of nowhere and landed straight on top of him. And we've managed to track him down. Mr. Jason Breen, shall we bring him up?
Yeah, just bring him straight in, man.
Let's bring him in. Jason, welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thanks, Paul. Hi, Ben. How you going?
I'm good, man. I'm
Mate,
good.
more importantly, how are you going?
Mate, good. Got a bit of whale scale on the side of my face, but up from that, all good. You know, live to tell the tale. Yeah.
It's incredible,
Let's
mate.
set the scene for anyone who hasn't heard the news. Because I woke up this morning. Obviously, I was saying to Jason before, you know, when someone sees a big crash or something crazy happen, usually I get messages. I woke up this morning, WhatsApp's gone crazy. I'm getting emails. Have you seen this? And then Paul's obviously sent me this. And I'm like, at first, I'll show you the video actually I first saw, which was this one, which I don't know if anyone's seen this one yet. So this one is from some random passerby, which Jason will explain in a minute, just happened to be filming him wingfoiling.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's mad. That's mad.
Yeah, but not only have you got the chance of a whale landing on top of you, you've also got the chance of someone happen to be filming you as it happens. What's the chance of those two things happening at once?
It's just nuts. The chance of that guy getting the capture of that from the headland and actually breaching and hitting me, and then also having my GoPro just down beside me, you know, just running but not really, you know, recording anything special was just bizarre. It's like one in a million. It'd have to be 1 in a million chance. You know, you're in a massive ocean. It's just
more than 1 in a million, mate.
I mean, I've obviously talked to you before, but I think for just people at home, maybe just sum it up. And we should really clarify one thing. This is a windsurfing channel. You're now wingfoiling, but you are an ex-windsurfer. We're going to come on to that soon. But let's just talk us through it, because it is kind of a crazy thing. Like because you said you wasn't even filming. You had the GoPro or 60 camera.
Look, I woke up at 10:30 this morning, Northern Beaches in Sydney. Beautiful day. Thought I'll go for a wingfoil out the waves out at Monavale Beach. Went out, turned around out the back, and as I was coming back in, wingfoiling, coming back in, to my right-hand side, I just saw a whale out of nowhere stick its head up, and then it just got further and further up out of the water. And about when it was on top of me, I just thought, I'm in trouble here. This is not good. And it literally just landed straight on top of me. It did drag me down sort of 20 to 30 feet. And the only thing that saved me was my leash, the webbing completely ripped out. And if it didn't, I probably wouldn't be here. Hey, like it was only the snap of that leg rope that actually saved me. And it's the actual webbing, it's the same as a harness line when we're windsurfing or anything. That webbing literally ripped. And if it hadn't done that, it was goodbye, I think.
Wow.
So hang on. So it wrapped around your leg?
Yeah, pretty much. So when the whale came down on top of me, it pushed me into the water and then got caught between the leg rope and myself. And obviously the whale wants to go down in the water, and he just dove deep with me in tow. Yeah, that's when I thought, I'm in real trouble here. Like, I could feel the whole whale beside me, rubbing against me, and me going under. And I'm just thinking, this is done. Like, what are you going to do? And then all of a sudden I felt it pop and release, but it was probably on the video, it's like 20 seconds. It had me down. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow, you must have been freaking out. Sorry, mate.
No, it was only the snap of that leg rope, which is, something you don't want to break, but the snap of that webbing that like saved me.
Wow.
Because I have been like held down before in waves, and people kind of see these crazy situations where people going, oh, I got held down for 2 minutes. I got held down because I've got the video for 7 seconds. And 7 seconds felt like such a long time. So on your video, you're down 20 seconds. Wow.
Yeah, I was down about between 20 and 30 seconds.
Wow.
So but your mind's going 100 miles an hour, and people were saying, oh, why didn't you pull the cuff off, the Velcro? But you don't think of it, man. You've got a whale, so in your brain, you're trying to process, I think a whale's on top of me, dragging me down, and your brain's not going to go, okay, pull a cuff. I was really just trying to clamber onto anything I could, and all I could feel was whale. And then luckily it just broke and I came up. Yeah. And then
when you were out there, mate, and you just, wing foiling along, how long did it take for when the whale breached to when you just realized what was going on? I mean, I'm assuming you're just there. It's all happening so fast that did you think like, oh, it's a shark? Or, was there any, you know what I mean? Like all these thoughts that just quickly run through your head, or was you just?
Yeah, I think, like when we're foiling or windsurfing off the coast here, we've had so many whales in Australia, in Sydney and up the north coast, like a lot this year, which is really good to see. Hey, like so many mothers and calves. So we've seen so many when we've been in the water. And when I went out, you could see whales breaching maybe 500 meters to a kilometre out to sea. Yep. But it's a long way. You see a splash. We're in the ocean. It's a whale. It's fine. You just go about your business. But I think this one dove deep and swam quite quickly under the water. So I thought I was, well clear of any whale. And then when it came up, I didn't think shark. I just knew whale straight away.
Sure.
Yeah, and then when it came up, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger until it looked like a submarine, like a little submarine, and just took me out. But yeah.
The reason I say that is because I've watched too many YouTube videos of these sharks breaching, and you just sort of, I guess it's just that shock when something just comes out of the ocean like that, it's pretty full on, isn't it?
So do you think it was just a total accident, or I'm just looking at this video, it's attractive? It can't be a total coincidence, can it? It must.
I don't know. Like, I haven't told any bad whale jokes. I haven't offended any whales. Like, I've done nothing right. But my only other, and this is throwing it out there, right? Because we're all water people. My only other thing is if it thought the foil was some type of dolphin and it wanted to play with it or something. I don't know, because it's, I really don't know. I didn't ask him. Once he held me down and let me go, he sort of swam off and we went our different ways. But it is very coincidental, isn't it? It's like,
I find it crazy. I'm just trying to find.
Did you see a life flash before your eyes?
100%, man. When on this video. On that video, when it comes up here, about there, I thought I'm in deep, hoo-ha. I'm in real trouble. And then when it came up further and hit me, I thought, man, about there, I thought I'm in real trouble now.
Look at it.
That's like full front butt.
Yeah, then it just hit me on the side and pretty much just took me down. So it was just so quick, and like there it wanted to hug me. I think it liked me. It just said, "Hey, Jace, what are you doing?" But it was it said, "Come and play." But it was just
Wow. That gives you a good perspective when you slow it down like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like when it pushed, I often wonder about this. When the whale pushed you down under the water, was the force? I mean, obviously, I mean, you don't have any injuries, do you? Or
No, mate. No, I really don't. I don't have any injuries. It hit me on the side of the face, and it was like just someone with a big soft bit of meat hitting you on the face. So yeah, no injuries. My equipment got a bit busted up, but
yeah,
it's okay. That's replaceable. But
Wow.
yeah, it's insane, isn't it? Just the size of these things. Like, we've all been out and dolphins have been around, whether we're windsurfing or whatever. Everyone sees dolphins, but to see that massive an animal come up right next to you was pretty freaky. Like it's just.
And you said that is a calf.
Well, the only reason I think it's a calf, guys, is because when it was taking me down and I was rubbing against its body, it was smooth and had no barnacles.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas most mother whales have barnacles.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'd be ripped to pieces.
I was thinking that when you said it was soft, because I nearly hit a whale in Cape Town once. It kind of just popped its back up in front of me, and it was covered in barnacles. It looked like a jaggedy rock almost.
And that's kind of what that's your experience you'd expect to have in the ocean with a whale, isn't it? Like you're windsurfing out, you'd expect to see the back of a whale, just coming up and doing a nice curve in the ocean, but not come up from the deep like this one did. This one came from really deep down, straight up, like it was on a mission. But
no, it's incredible. It's incredible, man.
Anyway, it's a good story.
But basically, so when it pushes you down into the water, obviously the water is liquid, so you're not hitting concrete. But I often wonder this: getting pushed down. I mean, the force, you're obviously just moving down with it into water, which is actually
100%.
wasn't too physically. Well, yeah, it obviously didn't injure you anyway. So it's something good to know. I just often wondered that.
100%, mate. I reckon. What? I reckon if I was on a boat or a kayak or a ski, I don't reckon I'd be just telling the same story, because you've got that hard surface for it to squash you against. I was lucky that I went into the water and was able to go down into the water with it. The liquidity of sort of the water, the movement of it sort of helped me out, I think. But then there's that that horrible, and all watermen have it. We have that fear of being held down by something, whether it's a big wave, whether it's something, and that kicked in first for me. Like that fear of being held down was I think that's what I was most shocked over.
Me
course,
too.
Of course.
We do have to have, there is a question out there, quite a few people asking, are you going to go back to windsurfing now?
No, I don't think so. It's a good question to be asked. But no, I think I'll stick with it for the moment. Yeah, because I do love the foiling. Windsurfing is great. Anything on the water to me, as long as you're out having fun.
Genuine question, out of interest. When did you switch to foiling? Because it's quite a big debate, especially on our channel, like between foiling. I know I've heard lots of guys that I know who used to windsurf wing now. Some people do both. What's your story in the wing versus windsurfing? I'd like just be interested to hear.
But I started windsurfing 68, 78, 88 in the early 80s when it was big, early to end of 80s, when windsurfing was, to me, was really, at its mecca here in Australia, it was. And that's when I started windsurfing, and I actually worked in a windsurfing shop, just frothed on it, every day, what it's like chasing wind. And then about 3 years ago, when I heard of this foiling thing, I thought, what, I'd love to give it a crack. And it becomes very addictive. It's like, I don't want to say it's, drugs aren't good, but it's like a drug. It is so addictive, foiling, because there's so much to learn. With windsurfing and surfing, I was only going to get so good. And to start from scratch again keeps that brain going, man. And it's like, I crash, I fall off, things happen. And I love that. I love the idea of starting fresh again, and having that excitement about it.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I speak to a lot of people, and I had that because I do a bit of winging.
Yeah.
But I think it also depends on where you're at and what time you've got and what conditions you have.
Yeah.
Definitely the places I notice winging is obviously bigger is the more marginal winds and marginal wave condition. Is that safe to say Sydney's a bit like that? It's like if you look at Pozo, you're not seeing every man and his dog winging because it's so windy.
Yeah, that's 100% right, Ben. I mean, I've got a good mate, Dan Wilson, who's into winging now, and he was, he's a good windsurfer. And in Sydney, he'll much rather go out on a windsurfer than he will winging. And he's very good at both, but he just loves windsurfing still. He's still got that real froth for it. So if it's windy and there's waves, you won't stop him. He'll love windsurfing.
I'm curious, Jason, which shop did you work at in Sydney?
I worked at a shop called Sydney Sailboat Centre at the bottom of Monavale Road. And it was one of the first big windsurfing shops in Sydney, in the Northern Beaches. It was around the times of even early on. Remember the plastic bomboras and those?
Yeah. I actually remember that shop as a kid. My dad was a super keen windsurfer, and he went in there a few times. Yeah, I remember that shop. At that time, there was about 7 or 8 shops in Sydney.
Yeah, and it was when carbon fibre and that sort of wasn't really heard of, but epoxy boards were just coming out, and things were really starting to evolve. It was a good time to be in windsurfing, I reckon, because it was just such a to-do sport.
It was big. It was big, mate. No, I remember as a kid, going down to Manly with Dad and seeing 300 guys out having a race on a one design out there at the ferry.
Yeah,
it was big time. And here you are now, mate, all these years later, getting attacked by a whale.
Yeah. But don't blame the foiling. He didn't have, he hasn't got, the whale didn't go, there's another foil.
I mean, that's the question that people are asking, though. Is it attracted by the noise of the foil? Because
mate, it's not. It's just a pure coincidence. Whether you were on a windsurfer or a foiler or a ski or a kayak, I really believe it was just that place at that time when that whale came up and wanted to give me a love tap. Like he just, he just felt the love and thought, I'm going to say hi to Jace. That was it.
I mean, I think it's mad because there's a point in this video that made me laugh. It's just fucking hilarious. You're sitting on the board after it, and you can see by your face, and you're like, it's like a realization, like, I just got hit by a whale.
And because, look, seriously, imagine you guys, right? You go into the beach, like, I tell my 2 mates, I go into shore, I tell my 2 mates, you know what they do? They just call bullshit. They go, there's no way you got hit by a whale. Like, it maybe splashed you or something, but so lucky to have the footage to back it up.
It's so true.
Exactly.
Like if someone comes in Cape Town, the classic example is, I've just seen a shark. And you're like, oh, shut up. Like it's always the one, unless there is video evidence these days, it's like it didn't count. And there's no way anyone is believing you got absolutely you got flattened by a whale. You didn't get hit by it. You got absolutely, wow.
And even to have that footage, that you just played, the guy on the headland filming it, like, really, what am I doing? I'm just going along in a straight line. It's bizarre, isn't it, to have, someone filming it from up there, and it's just a funny coincidence of events, mate.
So what's the deal with what is the scene in Sydney like at the moment in terms of winging and windsurfing and kiting? What's like, because that's the sort of 3 main ones, I guess. Obviously surfing, but we're not counting that. In terms of wind sports, how's the percentages, would you say, or what have you seen over the years?
Oh, mate, so wind sports here, we've got a real progression to foiling, so wing foiling, but you've got your die-hard kite surfers. And then also your windsurfers. And you won't, those guys will just stick to their art and they love that, and that's fine. But there is a progression from guys, you know, who were brought up windsurfing through the 80s, 90s, and 2000, and thinking, you know what, I'll give foiling a try, and they give it a try. Some stick at it and some don't. And we got funny winds here. You know, in Sydney, we can have, you know, our summer wind's supposed to be a coastal nor'easter, which runs along. And, you know, last year we had terrible winds, like really bad winds. We're hoping for good winds this year because it's a lot drier. So, yeah, and it's, you know, I'm in a really fun group, whereas I go out with windsurfers, and on the one wave, we will have a kiter, 2 windsurfers, and me. And it's, you know, to be able to share waves like that, because my windsurfing mates want to be in the pocket more. And on a foil, you can be out a bit wider, so you're not in their way, and you can share waves. And I love that about all wind sports. I think, you know, it's just nice to be out sharing the ocean. Yeah,
definitely more friendly than the classical surfing type sports, isn't it? Compared to, you know, when you look at wind sports, just the community and the people in them compared to the surfing type.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you know, windsurfing, you know, we give right away to the windsurfers because foiling's so flexible. We don't have to be in the pocket, and the windsurfing guys like to be in the pocket. So we're happy to give way to them and say, you know, you guys get closer to where the action is, and then we'll hang a bit wider. And it's good. We got a good group here, mate, in Sydney. Everyone gets along. You know, it's not unusual to have a wing foiler pumping his wing up, a windsurfer putting his rig together, and a kiter pumping his kite up, and you all head out together. That's not unusual in Sydney at all.
I think that's cool. Like I said, I take the piss out of kite surfers on this channel and wingers all the time. But that's all part of the fun. Some people take it so serious. Like I'm pretty sure Paul's the same. You've seen his videos. You know, it's kind of a bit of banter, but there are some guys that I guess must be having it like maybe at their home beach where it's a little bit more personal, and then they see us with a bit of banter and they really can't handle it. They start, I don't know, I've heard it from a few people. It's kind of interesting. Some windsurfers, I've heard this in Australia actually, it could be more south than you are, but there's quite a hardcore battle going on between the hardcore windsurfers and the wingers, and there's a bit of not fighting, but it's a little bit personal, let's say, more than banter. But
I think it's a bit more pronounced on the West Coast and the East Coast. The East Coast, they're a bit more just open to different things. That's my impression. What do you think, Jason? I mean,
you guys would have heard of Mambo. Mambo is a big, down in Marimbula here in Australia, is a big windsurfing comp. It's been going for 40-something years.
Yeah.
And last year, Mambo, when we went down, 50% of it was foiling. 25% would have been windsurfers. So we had Scotty O'Connor and all the old guys there. And then the other 25% kiters. And we all had to get on and go out in the same break. And it was really interesting. And you did get a little bit of friction from, you know, different groups. You got, you know, like, don't come in our area, and it was a little bit like that. But, you know, I probably think this whale probably thought I was on a kite and probably thought, you know, he needs to be taken out. But, you know, he was just mistaken, I think.
Well, what's the beach set up there? Because I've been to Sydney. Well, when I was trying to get into Sydney Olympics. So I went to Sydney like 9 times around just before 2000 because we had all the training there and all this sort of stuff. And windsurfing wise, what are the main beaches? Because is it like Palm Beach? Is that like a spot? There's not many people use that anymore. Because I remember Home and Away being like the soap opera when I was growing up from Australia. And I was like, wow, there's always a windsurfer in like the opening. Like,
do you remember that? Do you remember that? It was a Neil Pride. Do you remember that? It was like a
So Palm Beach used to be really good for windsurfing back in the 80s, 90s. But now we go more reef breaks. So we've got some really good reef breaks here off Long Reef. And I think one of the World Cups in late 90s, the Sony was held at Long Reef, and we've got some really good reef breaks that you actually sail out to. So you'll sail out on a windsurfer, and then it's just a gnarly kick-ass reef break and can get really big.
Really?
Yes. And now, do I see a windsurfer at Palm Beach? Hardly ever. Like you might see 2 a year. But at Makaha and these reef breaks, yeah, they're the guys that come out all the time. As soon as the wind's up, they're your windsurfing guys.
Okay. So where's the most popular like wind? Could be wind foiling, could be windsurfing. What's your most popular beach, like for just your average? The airport.
Probably Long Reef, because I live at Newport Beach, which is just south of Palm Beach on the northern beaches, and we've got a really good reef break just out in front of our house. So we're lucky here at Newport, but Long Reef really is that's your mecca for the core windsurfers. Okay. You know, they know the break, they know where to go, they know the conditions, and that's where we see the really good windsurfers.
Oh, that's good to know, because I know you've got quite a few good Olympic hopefuls training in the harbour as well. I guess they're training.
Yeah.
So those boys are pushing hard, aren't they?
Yeah, we've got some good. I don't know whether you guys like this one, but it's the IQs. You know, we've got some kick-ass IQ windsurfers now. You know, really good ones, and we've just got Tash Bryant's a good friend of mine, and she got it. She left the IQs, but she's now on the F50. Okay. Doing the Formula One boats, the F50 Cats. So she's on that crew, and there's a couple of really good young kids here. We've got Will McMillan. He's just did the World Cup, and these guys will cross over as well from windsurfing to foiling and then back again.
Yeah, because I've seen him doing a bit of winging. I've seen Will doing a bit of winging. I mean, he's a young fella, but goes bloody fast. I know he's been concentrating more on Olympic stuff, but.
Yeah, and they're you know, it's good to have that crossover, right? Because they're I love it. So it's really nice. We're in a lucky area to have a bit of everything.
Yeah. I think also the winds, because I grew up in Sydney as well, Jason, and I just seem to remember as a kid, you know, the summers would roll around and you'd get, you know, a summer's day, nice clear blue skies and 20, 25 knots, you know, and then, but in the last few years, it's gotten a bit more funky, the winds, I've noticed, hasn't it? Although this summer, you might be a windy one for you, but yeah.
100%, mate. Paul, last year was rank, hey? It was terrible. But this year, because it's drier, we're hoping that we're going to get those coastal nor'easters, and that's what we live on in summers, the nor'easters. And then we get the odd southerly change, which comes in and then blows. Southerly for us is complete down the coast, just epic.
Yeah.
And that's what we hope for. So the nor'easters or the southerlies. And hopefully this year we get a bit better, but it started to be good. We've had a whale, you know, experience.
You don't look like you're very traumatized by the experience, Jason.
I mean, look, you can't be. Hey, when it happened, it scared the shit out of me. Hey, like when it happened, and I sat back on my board, and I came in past my mate, and I said, I've been hit by a whale, and he went, yeah, bullshit. And he was sitting in the water, and he said, I'm pretty tanned. And he said, man, you're as white as a ghost. Like you were just pure white. And I made it onto the beach. And then people had seen what had happened. And they were, are you okay? Like we saw a whale, and then we didn't see you for a while. Like you'd gone, and they were ready to call 000, which is our emergency call here. So the whole thing was, I've got to be honest, I was in a little bit of shock, hey, at first.
Of course. And you're actually a fair way off the coast. I mean, you weren't exactly right.
Yeah, it's not. It looks worse than it is, hey. It's probably 500 meters past the point. It's not really that far. It's the angle that makes me look a long way out.
Fair enough. Yeah. And tell us, because I actually want to give shout outs to Jason Juretic. If you're listening, thanks for putting me on to Jason, because he sent me your details, and then you super kindly came on here. But what's happened? You've as far as your attention now from the media, because I'm seeing things pop up. You're going viral. Like what's tell us about that experience.
So I get out of the water about maybe 11 o'clock, this thing's happened. I get home, I kid you not, this is today, right? Today's society and how everything works. By the time I get from Monavale to home, which is like 5K, my phone's lighting up with like, this is channel 7, this is channel 9. I'm going, but how can you even know about this? So, and they knew about it so quickly.
Wow.
So I've had, I was up on the headland for like 3 hours with 3 news crews doing all the interviews and everything. So it's pretty bizarre, hey? Like, like it's a spin out because you're out there 1 minute just having fun, and the next minute you're thrown into this like media gauntlet thing. So,
it goes to show how quickly things move these days, isn't it? Your social media. I mean, because the guy on the cliff, he would have posted it to his social media, and then it's just gone bang straight up, hasn't it?
Yeah, he put it on Facebook, and I'm not on Facebook. Someone saw it on Facebook and said, and his question was, if anyone knows who this is, can you let me know if they're okay? Because it looked like it just got squashed, right?
Oh,
like a pancake. And so they sent it to me, and then I got his number, and I just texted him and said, mate, look, I'm the guy that got hit by the whale. Okay. And from there, it just blew up. Pretty much, but yeah.
And tomorrow morning, are you going on some TV shows tomorrow? Are you?
Yeah, I'm doing the morning shows in the morning. Hey, good. So just a normal guy going on the morning show telling the whale story. So
that's fucking brilliant, bloody brilliant.
I might as well ride it while it's there, and it's good to share the froth of the ocean. We're so lucky to have these sports, aren't we? Like windsurfing, you go out, we've got the wind, we've got the water. It's just magical, So if we can share the froth of that to other people, then maybe we get more people into these sports.
Yeah, but so I have another question. So that relates to what you just said. Do you want more people? This is a genuine question.
Yeah, okay. My genuine answer would be no, and I'm probably not going to be that, that's a hard one, because when we're at our local break in the waves, it's hard, man. Would I like half the people there? Yeah, I would, because, it gives us room to do what we want to do, and then we, do what we do. And it's not windsurfers. It's more people getting into this new sport. And then giving it a go, and you can't blame them, right? They're seeing something, they're going, that looks great, I want to give it a go. And we all started somewhere, even windsurfing, we started somewhere. But the answer to your question, it's a hard would be
I get asked all the time. They said, Ben, how can we get more people into it? How can we get? And I'm like,
stop.
Honestly, and this is from a selfish point of view. I'm like, what do we need? Do we need more people? Because I go to some of the best wave sailing spots in the world at the right times of year. And I look at myself and I think, okay, how many more people could they handle? Not many. I can tell you now, not many. The wave sailing spots. What we maybe need is more people on the lakes and the flat water, and the brands need more people. But as windsurfers, have I got enough windsurfing friends? Like in Portugal, we could probably do with a few more windsurfers. Not too many, just a few more. But it's quite a crazy question. It's like, why do you need more people? Because I like to share the stoke, and that's why I'd like to see more people windsurfing, for them to experience what I experience on a weekly basis, sometimes daily basis. And I feel like if you've never experienced water sports, especially wind water sports, you've missed out massively. But on a selfish point of view, from personal, just doing my own thing, it's like, well, not too many.
I agree. Would you guys see my ultimate day out, on the water, is maybe 2 close mates and the whole break to yourself?
Yeah.
So I don't know how you both feel, but to me, that's the ultimate. What do you guys like? Do you like small numbers? You'd like just that?
I'm a little bit weird. I quite like it busy-ish, but not I'm not saying busy, because busy in Portugal is probably a few mates. It's not much.
Right.
That's
Right.
I would say what you just explained there is the ideal situation.
Yeah.
Like for me, it depends how many waves there are and how many sets. Like 4 or 5 mates is really fun. But then you have all these different stories, because that's what also makes a session for me. Okay, we wouldn't have as good a story as you've been hit by a whale, but you know, on a normal session, there's things that have happened. You shared the wave, you've missed the wave, you've seen your mate get smashed, you've seen him land his first something. You know, they're the things that make my session really enjoyable, as well as my own sailing, you know, but those little stories in the whole thing. So yeah, I would go with that.
And I'm 100% with you, Ben. I reckon it's someone almost to witness what goes on. Hey, and Paul, you might do the same, because if you've got a couple of mates to witness, you know, you go the first wave in the set, I'll go the second, and then you all come back out and just froth on it. Yeah. I reckon it's better to share the froth with those couple of mates and go, oh, that was great. Let's wait for the next set.
Well, that's why I drop in on everyone, just to share the froth.
Yeah, right.
No. That is true. Like, let's just take your video here. Yes, you got it on video, but let's say you didn't have it on video, but your mate was coming towards you at the time.
Yeah.
That is almost weirdly not better because everyone else can't see it, but that moment that you two would share, he'd be just going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Your mate would be backing you up going, no, it took him out. It literally happened.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I agree. And
like
Paul, to get back to your question, here on the Northern Beaches, they actually call me the Pest. My nickname's the Pest because I drop in on everyone. I'm the worst. Hey, if I'm going out and I see someone on a set coming in, I'll just quick loop, man, and just drop straight in.
Oh, really?
And they're all very good by it, but I love sharing it. So
I must love it. Yeah, you got to pick your person you drop in on, obviously.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. You know what I love about this? Oh, go, Benny.
No, I was going to say, with the foil, it is a kind of a different thing, because on the foil, like you were saying, I'm not saying dropping in is a good thing. That's not what I'm saying before anyone starts killing me. It's almost like it doesn't upset the wave, and you can ride almost on the shoulder, way away from the critical bit, still have fun, because I've had people filming on a foil like that, and it literally doesn't change the wave. Obviously, you have to be careful and all the shit that goes with it. But there is a way, there is a world where a foil can ride the same wave as someone else and not affect the wave at all.
Yeah, 100%. Even out here, so Newport, the best example, I did a clip. I'm holding a GoPro on a stick. My mate Dan Wilson's, he's windsurfing in the pocket. I'm not interrupting him at all, and he's having an absolute ball. You know what I mean? Like, so for him to do that and me to be on the shoulder, but still being able to have momentum and push from the wave, that's just perfect. You know,
I think what we have to make sure is people shouldn't do it to random people they don't know. There's got to be some sort of communication between the two parties, because some people might just clip me up here and go, Ben said it was all right. We could just drop in on. But if you know the people, you can kind of work it out in these days, I think, with the different stuff.
Yeah. You know what I like about this?
If you guys were on the same wave, I'd go, here comes Ben and Paul, and I'd hook in if I knew you and we'd have a laugh. But I think you've got to pick your waves. Sorry, Paul, what were you going to say?
No. I was just going to say, I love this still from this video, because it looks like the whale is using you as a board, and it's actually wing foil. Like it looks like it's actually wing foiling itself. The way the wing is positioned above its head. It's just funny, isn't it?
That was brand new this morning. That wing, it's a Vayu wing that just came from Germany. Landed in Australia 2 days ago, and this morning I broke it out, and that was it. It lasted maybe 5 minutes, I think.
Wow. Okay. Well, you got a good story from it. There's a question here from Joe saying, when is Jason launching Hit by a Whale clothing line?
It's coming out soon. The whale tail, we'll call it. I don't know. A funny story, guys. I was with I've got a nickname of Jason the Jaw because I chat a lot, and I love talking to people in the paddock and when they're rigging up, and banter. I love all that. And when I told the news guy that my nickname was Jason the Jaw, he just loved it. He went, "This story just gets better. The jaw hit by a whale. How good can it get?" He was literally rolling on the ground going, "This is the best ever." He loved it.
No, it's super cool, super cool. Well, I look forward to. I'll definitely keep an eye on the some of the commercial channels tomorrow and see if I can find you on there, mate. That's classic.
No worries, guys.
Yeah.
Good job, boy.
Thanks. No, well, what do you reckon, Benny? We
Thank
got any other
you.
questions for Jason, or do you think we've
That was good
we've grilled
to
him
hear.
enough?
I mean, it's quite just fun, man, just to chat to you, because you've got a good, like I said, you've got a good sense of humor about it. The video's there. This is the bit. That's the bit at the end of the video where you literally sit there looking around going, I just got hit by a whale. I don't think anyone's going to. That's just the classic for me. But yeah, man, cheers for coming on. That's good.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, Ben. Thanks for having me, Paul. Loved it.
Oh, mate.
Cheers,
no,
guys.
thank you so much for coming on such short notice.
No
for
worries.
everyone out there wondering how we got Jason on, literally had a friend send me a message, Jason's details, rang him up. Usually when you ring somebody up, you expect them to just say, "Oh, who are you? Don't bother me." But mate, you're super friendly. You're super keen to come on. So, props to you, mate. Well done.
Yeah, just happy to share the froth. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man.
Good on you, legend.
See you later.
Mate. Bye. Yeah, so that was Jason and his whale of a time out there.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny. All right, dudes. Well, we have had some news from the Yellow Classic, but I think that should be a separate video because there is some draws up. But I think we'll end this stream, and I'll give you a shout. Maybe we'll do a little Lower Classic update and go through the draws. So
cool, man.
All right, I'll speak to you in a bit.
See you guys.